14 years after paying $8.5 billion to acquire Skype, Microsoft has officially pulled the plug on the platform, a decision reminiscent of putting an injured animal out of its misery more than anything else. But let's be honest, this was a long time coming. Microsoft hadn't even mentioned Skype in its earnings call since mid-2023, a pretty clear sign that the company had mentally moved on. Now, in an almost ceremonial farewell, Microsoft is offering all current Skype users the chance to migrate to its Teams platform using the same login credentials, making it clear that Teams is now the company's golden child. In this video, we will take a look at the rise and fall of Skype to better understand what led to its demise. 2003 was a different world. For just $39.99 a month, you could get a whopping 10 megabytes of data, and domestic mobile calls cost up to 35 cents every minute. But Skype was about to change this. The platform launched in 2003 offering something simple, the ability to make audio or video calls over the internet. While it wasn't the first company to offer this, it was the first to do it well, meaning that it had an intuitive user interface that made it easy to use. And it did not take long for it to become a global success. By 2010, it had 560 million registered users and around 124 million monthly active users. Along the way, it had been acquired twice. In 2005, eBay acquired it for $2.6 billion, convinced it could integrate the platform into its auction business. Spoiler, it couldn't. After failing to make it work, eBay offloaded most of its stake in 2009 to an investor group led by private equity firm Silver Lake, valuing Skype at $2.75 billion. But Skype's big moment would come in 2011. At this time, Facebook and Google were separately considering a tie-up with Skype. A deal could value it at $3 to $4 billion. But Microsoft, terrified of losing ground to its rivals, walked in with an $8.5 billion offer, more than twice what everyone else was offering. Naturally, the sellers did not need much convincing. And 2 years later, Skype hit its peak with over 300 million monthly users. But it did not take long for things to start going south. Skype's early success was due to the fact that it was the best internet calling service for your computer. However, the platform struggled to adapt to the smartphone era. As new services like FaceTime, WhatsApp, and Google Hangouts emerged with more seamless experiences, Skype struggled to keep up. The entire platform was riddled with sluggish innovation, and soon people were starting to get annoyed with it. The once sleek platform became bloated and clunky, adding so many extra features that it started feeling like a Swiss Army knife, except half the tools didn't work right. The interface became a mess, frustrating longtime users. Calls were riddled with random crashes, freezes, and lag. And if that wasn't enough, the experience was inconsistent across different devices. A feature available on Windows might be missing on iOS, and the design varied so much between platforms that using Skype on different devices felt like navigating a completely different app each time. All of this meant that Microsoft failed to integrate Skype to its suite of tools in any meaningful way. Then, in 2017, Microsoft launched Teams, which was the first domino that kickstarted Skype's descent into irrelevance. Teams quickly took priority. This was perfectly evident during the pandemic in 2020 when Microsoft decided to push its Teams platform rather than Skype, even though Skype was one of the most recognizable brands in the market at that time. Despite a brief surge during the pandemic, Skype's monthly active users had fallen to around 23 million in 2020. And since then, Skype has been hanging around, waiting for the sweet release of death.